Hey everybody, I'm Brianna Lentz, and today I have a crochet tutorial. I have my very own crochet cowl pattern that I will be sharing with you and have linked directly down below where you can find the free pattern, or you can go ahead and support me by purchasing the paid for pattern on Etsy. If you hear an animal in the background, I have baby ducklings that we hatched. Right here, my daughter's holding it, and we have 3 of them. So to hear the ducks it can't be avoided. Anyway, I wanted to share with you really simple, beginner-friendly pattern. This is really fun, really fast, and a really great project to start working on for Christmas or to sell now for Christmas, or even just to give for birthdays for the upcoming fall and winter season. So this is what it looks like. I have a small pattern and I have a larger pattern. This is the biggest one. This is the smallest one. This takes 2 skeins of bulky weight yarn size 5, and this takes 3. And it's just longer and wider. I'm using chunky weight merino wool from Hobby Lobby for both of these. And in today's video, I go through and I take you step by step on how you can make this. So as long as you know how to chain, how to half double crochet, and then you can do this project. You're going to be learning a new stitch where the half double crochet has its 2 V's and it has its back bar, its 3rd bar in the back. You are going to be learning how to crochet in the back, and it's very simple, very simple. The half double crochet is my absolute favorite stitch, and so I'm really excited to be sharing a couple patterns with you that really expands on my favorite crochet stitch of all time. So if this is something that you would like to learn how to make, then this is definitely the video for you. And thank you for putting up with my farm animal sounds. So let's go ahead and get started into today's super simple crochet cowl pattern that I have in store for you. Today we are going to be working on the basic oh my gosh. Try 3. Today we will be working on the basic but fancy chunky crochet cowl. That is a lot to say, but it is worth it. So today what you're going to need is 3 skeins of chunky wool. This is a size 5 weight wool. You will need my free pattern that will be at briannalentz.com. linked in the description box below. You will need a size 9mm crochet hook. This is an N, but I always go by the numbers, 9mm. You will need a measuring tape, and you will need stitch markers. But you know, you don't have to use these kind, whatever. Coffee, always optional, but highly recommended. So for this, you will need roughly 300 yards. I have 3 100-yard skeins, so that's what I'm going to be using. And I'm going to be using Prom Corsage by Hobby Lobby Yarn Bee. This is clearance yarn that I got in my clearance haul back in April. And so this is part of my 3-month challenge where I am trying to use all of it in 3 months, which when I crossed, I've got a lot going on. So as long as my hand cooperates, I will be able to do it. I just have to be able to, you know, not get muscle spasms. All right, so this is a very beginner-friendly pattern. It looks complicated, but it is not, and I already have, look at that, it came out, great. So first thing you're gonna need to do is unwind your yarn. Let's go ahead and get started, giving yourself a tail that's a very generous tail. It's too long of a tail. If I do that, then I get confused, and that was just too long. So let's do this again. There we go. That's about the same. Okay, apparently that's good enough. So for this, you can follow along on my pattern that I will have described down below. This tutorial will show you everything that you need to know to be able to work this pattern as a beginner, or even as someone who may have never done a half double crochet in the 3rd loop or the 3rd bar. Really, as long as you know how to do chains, half double crochet, you can do this. It's just identifying where the third bar is, which is maybe something that you've never done before. So first, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to chain until you have 20 inches, or you could chain 50 to start out with. So that's what I'm going to do. And apparently I'm going to start this one more time. You're going to want to chain loosely, not super loose, but you're going to want to not chain tightly. And you will be grateful to that later. So I'm going to go ahead and start. I always do groups of 4. So that way if I get interrupted, I know at least when I end, I'm going to end on a 4. So I'm at 12, 16. Okay, 20. And continue on until we hit 50. And then you're going to want to add 2 more for a turning chain. So 50 plus 2. So 52 chains total. So again, 50, 1, 2. Okay, that's pretty loose. What is with me today? I'm not getting my tension correct. There we go. So 52. So now what I'm going to do for row 1 is these first 2 are my starting chains, but they do not count as a half double crochet. I'm going to half double crochet all the way across in the bump on the back. This gives me a really nice finish, and this is what I always do. I always crochet in the back bump. So this is my first one, and I'm going to immediately put a marker that I did not have prepared. There's my air conditioner. If you hear that turn on. This lets me know exactly where my first and last stitches are. I don't have to worry if I'm accidentally increasing by accidentally crocheting into one of my starting chains. So I'm going to again do a half double crochet into the bump on the back. So here are my V's, these are my chains. I'm crocheting into the back bump. And it gives you a really beautiful finish on the end. So go ahead and get to the end. For me, that's going to be 50, and I will see you there. I have crocheted all the way across, so I have 50. All right, so now what I'm going to do is first give myself some more yarn, for sure. All right, so now what we're gonna do, this is what we're gonna do for every row, okay? So pay attention. We're gonna do chain 2. So 1, 2. You do not want these chains to be too tight, because if you have these chains be too tight, they're gonna throw off your whole gauge and make your cowl all weird. So chain 2, turn. All right, now look. Oh, it's black. Let me go ahead and do the first one so I can get it off onto an easier one for you to see. But you're going to half double crochet in the bar. So I don't know if you can see it on the black. There's 1, 2, and then 3. Front loop, back loop, third loop. It's so hard because it's black. Let me do this one. So you're gonna half double crochet in the third bar in the same stitch, like that first stitch. You don't skip one, you do it right in the one. And you're gonna half double crochet in that third one. So if you look at your piece, you've got your half double crochet, which normally you would go under here and then do your half double crochet like this, right? Except you're not gonna do that. This is your front loop, back loop, third loop. So you're gonna go in that back one. Front loop, back loop, third loop. So just still a half double crochet. It's just your front loop, back loop, third loop, or third bar back there. And what that's going to do is it causes those V's to go to the front. And once you get accustomed to it, like after I'd say 10 stitches, it's like your brain just automatically goes, oh, that's what I'm supposed to stitch in. So front loop, back loop, third loop right there. And this is all you're doing for the entire cowl. It's so easy, it's so rhythmic, and it's so beginner friendly. So on this one, look, here's your half double crochet that you normally stitch in. 1, 2, 3, right there. And it causes those stitches to be pushed to the front. So here's the back, here's the front. Let me show you on the other cowl, the first one that I made. So this is the fabric that you get, is you get those V's pushed to the front. So instead of it just being a ridge, you get this beautiful V on the front and the back side, all the way down. So you get this beautiful ridge, right? It's ribbed, but your V's are all pushed to the front because of that yarn over. When you make the half double crochet, you get that third bar. So it's such a simple thing to change in your work on a half double crochet pattern, but it is so effective. If you've seen my previous videos, the half double crochet is my favorite stitch. And to then be able to expand on my favorite stitch, which is the half double crochet, to just stitch through that back loop, that third bar, not the back loop, the third bar, is such a game changer. So this is what you're going to do. You're just going to go all the way across until you reach your end, which is easily marked because you put a stitch marker, and then you chain 2, and then you completely repeat what you did. So it's so simple. And if you are an absolute beginner, if you are still a little bit nervous, then go ahead and count your stitches. Make sure you've got 50 until you feel comfortable. And you will repeat this until you have 28 inches in length. So like this. So here's my, where is the one I started at? Here's where I started. Okay, so this is where we're at right now. You're going to crochet until you reach 28 inches going this way. And then what I will see you is when we are done, and we are going to then sew this together, and this is going to create the closed cowl. So I will see you then. I haven't decided if I'm going to work on this one or the dark colored fabric because I don't know which one will be easier to show you. Probably the lighter colored fabric. So that's what I'm going to do. So very, very simple, and I know you can do it. So again, I will see you, which will just be like a second for you, but will be a couple days for me as I work on this and get to the 28 inches. And we will sew it together, and we will have our completed basic but fancy chunky crochet cowl. Okay, so in this part of the video, I am going to show you how to seam it all together just like I did on this one, where you can't tell where it begins and ends. And because this is so dark, if this is too dark to see, then I recorded this version too, and I'll do a voiceover if I have to. But if I don't, then you'll just see me complete it with this part. I just wanted to tell you in advance that if it is too dark for you to see, I'll just show you how I did it on this one, but it's the same thing. So you find your, my daughter is working on something in the background. You find your beginning row and your end row, and we're just going to stitch them together. So the first thing that you're going to have to do is finish off your last stitch and pull through. So you're going to need to cut off a long enough piece of yarn to be able to weave everything together. I can already tell you right now, this is going to be way too much. But the opposite of what Grandma used to tell us in the microwave, you can always add, but you can't take away. Well, in this case, you can't take away. Like, you can't add more to this one. if you cut it too short, you're kind of, I'm trying to think of a nice way to say it. Like you're out of luck. So I'm going to go ahead and finish off this stitch. Again, I left way too much yarn. Boom. Okay. Now at this point, you got to decide which side you like best, the front, which side is the front, and which one you want to be the inside. And it matters and it doesn't matter all at the same time. Let's see. Because of the way that my yarn is, I'm just looking for any big fluffs of yarn, because I had that one skein, that second skein I used, where I had some patches of really thick yarn. So I don't know why, but I like this to be the outside, so I'm just going to stitch it like this. Really, it doesn't matter. You're just going to stitch it together, and then it's up to you how you want to do it. But I'm going to stitch it this way with these, the wrong sides facing each other and the right side out, which really I don't think I'm going to be able to tell because it's so dark. It's going to be more noticeable on a lighter color yarn, but not so much on a darker. And again, I'm taking some of this yarn off. So I'm going to take my tapestry needle, and you will have a different selection of tapestry needles. I am going to use the big one, so it's going to have a larger eye to it because it's bulky yarn. You can shove it through one of the smaller ones. It's just harder. It's just way harder. But if you don't have one, and I was trying to use a pen, and I was trying to get it to start, and that's why I've got pen. I'm going to thread my tapestry needle. Hey, Jules, just a minute, okay? Just 1 minute. And right here, I have the piece where I'm connected to, and I'm going to find my end piece here. And I am not going to be sewing through all 4 pieces of the V. Like right now, I'm through 1, 2, 3, 4 legs. Okay, so I have the leg towards me, the leg towards the middle, leg towards the middle, and leg on the outside. I'm going to be weaving through the legs on the outside, okay? So I have the 2 outside legs of my V's. Just making sure that that's what I think is the... If you don't get it correct and you have an extra one here, you can fib it. So it matters, but it doesn't matter all at the same time. So yeah, I guess I'll call it there. And if you do it and you're like, nope, that's not it, you can redo it. But what I like to do on my very first stitch is I just like to really secure it together, so that way I have a nice flat finish and it looks seamless. Like I don't want it to split apart like this. So I actually go through the outside right there, and I pull it tight, but not too tight to where it distorts everything. Okay, so now I'm going to find my next leg, which is right here. And here's my next V on the outside. I'm going to sew the 2 outsides. So I'm going to be going like this. Okay. And I pull it tight, not too tight. Now I'm going to go into the next stitch, and I'm going from the outside leg in to the next one. So you're only doing 2 at a time. And this is going to give it a nice finish. And so as we do it, it actually looks like the 2 V's are closed together just like this, because we're doing the 2 outsides. So the 2 inside V's now become invisible to the outside. Now on this side, you can tell. So it is noticeable, but this is going to be at the back of your neck, and it is such a busy yarn that you won't be able to really tell. But that is why it is important for you to kind of decide what you like to be on the outside. But are you going to make sure every time you put on this cowl, or the person does? Probably not. If the person doesn't crochet, they might not even realize that there's a difference. So it matters to you now, but does it matter? Maybe if it's a lighter yarn. And it just depends on how picky you want to be. But there is a right side and a wrong way to do it. And so you just pick which side you want to be your right side, and you have that on top, and you put the wrong sides together. That easy. And this is really simple. So if this part seemed daunting to you, I hope that this relieves your stress about it, because it's so easy. And I'm doing this from a different angle than I normally would, but yeah. So just continue this all the way down, and you should have a beautiful finish just like this. So I'll meet you down at the very end. Okay, so I am at the very end, and I've got 2 left. So outside to outside, and I matched mine up pretty well. And I have this because I guess previously, like, I had notated which side I wanted to be the outside. So consistently I wanted this to be the outside, so that's nice. I forgot that I did that. And then you just got to find that last stitch, and here I am. And just like loofah. Okay, I'm gonna take this out. I'm going to secure this side just because I don't want it to go like that. I don't want it to split and you should see a ladder. That's what I'm trying to say. You're kind of like doing a ladder with your stitching. I couldn't think of that word, but I knew there was one. I want to do this because sometimes you just kind of let the project speak to you, let it tell you what it wants. Evidently it wants me to tie it up like that. I don't want that notch there though. And then you just kind of gotta weave in the ends the best way you think. So look at this. And I think I'm gonna see what happens if I go this way. Beautiful. What happens if I go this way? Beautiful. And I'm gonna go up here. Beautiful. Not really a whole lot of rhyme or reason other than these fibers are going to felt together, so I'm not really worried. I just don't want a huge bulk right here where it distorts everything and you can feel it. So I'm weaving it in pretty good, and you can't tell because the color change was right there, so that's good. Now the hardest part is how do you secure the end so it doesn't become loose, right? I think you just kind of have to have a little faith in yourself and your work and cut it and say, hey, I know in my mind that's going to felt together and I'm not going to have to worry about that end coming loose. And then you're going to be done. So let me go ahead and do that. And this is always so stressful. It's like, did I weave this in enough? Did I do a good enough job? Did I, it's like, dang, it's kind of stressful. Oh, well, I'm going to call it, hopefully, right there. Move that away from my project so I don't accidentally cut it. And now I am completely done. So my cowl is finished. All my ends are woven in, okay? And you will wear it like this. Okay, so I have the outside. So when I flip it over, I've got the right side. And you just kind of tuck it in. Or like this, you can have it go either way. So let me model that for you, which you've already seen it modeled because you're going to see my thumbnail and everything else. So it really is that simple to finish this project. It really is a great beginner friendly project. This is a great project if you haven't done some of these things before to work it on here because it's really forgiving. And this is something cost effectively you can make someone to sell, to gift, or just for yourself. It was pretty easy, right, you guys? So this is a really simple video and pattern for you to follow along with, and I hope you enjoyed it. I really appreciate you guys supporting me and going to BriannaLentz.com. Every time you visit my website, it supports me, and every time you purchase something from my Etsy shop, it absolutely supports me. And to continue to support me, if you haven't already, please hit that thumbs up, because that helps me find other people and other people find me on YouTube, because I really would like to hit that algorithm. And please subscribe to my channel, because that really helps me out too. I am trying to hit 4,000 watch hours, which I haven't hit yet. I would love to become monetized on YouTube, so please help me reach that goal. I really, really appreciate it, and I really appreciate you spending your time with me. If you'd like to see any new patterns or have any ideas of something that you would like to see me create a tutorial for, always comment that down below. I always get comments that more people would like more beginner-friendly patterns, so I really do hope that you found this to be something easy for you to achieve and quick. This is one of my fastest and most effective patterns that I think I've made to date. So thank you again for watching, you guys. Happy crocheting, and as always, I'll see you in the next project and in the next video. Bye!
Mom.